Time doesn't heal everything. Sometimes it just reveals who was real. You know, my friends, people love to say, time heals all wounds. But the truth? Time doesn't always heal. It exposes, it peels away the masks, burns through illusions, and shows you exactly who was pretending to love you and who truly did. So if you've ever been left behind, ignored, or made to feel like you weren't enough, this one's for you. Because time, my friend, is about to become your greatest ally. You won't have to chase. You won't have to prove. You won't have to beg. You just have to wait and let time do the damage. Hey folks, imagine this. You were the sun in someone's life, warming them, lighting their days, giving them your best energy. Then one day, they got used to your light. They started taking it for granted, so they walked away, chasing a flickering candle in the distance, thinking it would shine brighter than you. But give it time, that candle always burns out. And when it does, they'll look back at the sun they abandoned and realize the warmth they'll never find again. That's what time does. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's patient. It waits in silence while people make their choices, and eventually it shows everyone what they truly lost. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Time is like a river of passing events, and strong is the one who stands still in its flow." That's what I want you to become, a rock in that river. Still, unshaken and immovable while everything else gets carried away. See, most people panic when someone walks away. They start chasing, they start begging. They think if they just explain a little more, love a little harder, or wait a little longer, that person will come back. But that's the lie, my friend. The more you chase, the more they run. The more you explain, the less they listen. The truth is, they don't learn from your presence. They learn from your absence. So you stop chasing, you stop talking, you stop explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you, and instead, you let time do what it always does best, reveal. Because time is the great equalizer. It humbles the proud, it exposes the fake, and it reminds those who took you for granted what peace, loyalty, and real connection actually feel like by taking it away. There will come a day when the same people who ignored your messages will scroll back through your old texts just to feel that connection again. The ones who thought they could do better will realize they just downgraded their peace. And the one who left you standing in silence will hear your name again in their own mind. And they won't know why. That's not magic. That's time. And while they're looking back, you'll be looking forward. Because you didn't waste your time trying to fix what broke you. You used it to rebuild yourself. You learned that you never needed their validation to begin with. You learned that detachment isn't coldness, it's power. My friends, time doesn't need your help to teach them the lesson. You just have to stop interrupting it. Let time speak for you. Let your silence echo louder than your words ever could. So here's your reminder today. Stop rushing the process. Stop stalking their life. Stop wondering if they're happy without you. They won't be for long, because time never forgets to collect its debts. Write this down in the comments to claim it. I let time speak. Say it, own it, believe it, because that's the energy that wins without revenge. Now press that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay with me, because what's coming next will show you exactly how to use time, silence, and stoic strategy to make them regret ever walking away. Number 1. Stop chasing. Start timing the silence. The more you chase what runs away, the faster it disappears. They think if they run after the one who left, they'll somehow pull them back. They think love is a race, and whoever runs faster wins. But the truth, my friend, is that the more you chase, the more you lose. Not them, yourself. Because every time you send that one more text, make that one more call, or try to prove your worth to someone who's already blind to it, you tell the universe, I don't believe I'm enough without them. Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a quiet field, holding a butterfly in your hand. It's beautiful, gentle, fragile. You open your fingers, and it flies away. Your first instinct? You chase it. You run through the grass, arms out, desperate to catch it again. But the harder you run, the farther it drifts. And here's the part most people never understand. The butterfly doesn't return to the one who runs. It returns to the one who waits, still and calm, trusting that if it's meant to come back, it will. That's the power of silence. That's the weapon of time. Now I know what you're thinking, but what if they forget me? What if they find someone else? What if they never realize my worth? That's the fear talking, the fear of being replaced, of being forgotten, of being unseen. It's the same fear that drives people to act out of panic, to break their own peace just to prove they still matter. But let me tell you something. When you move in fear, you hand over all your power. When you stay still, when you let silence take over, that's when you become magnetic again. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that. You can't master love, relationships, or attraction if you can't first master your own emotions. Every time you react to their silence with desperation, you lose a piece of that mastery. You stop being in control of your own energy and start letting them control it. This is why silence feels so hard at first, because it forces you to sit with yourself. It exposes all those inner doubts you've been trying to escape. You start questioning your worth, your attractiveness, your past choices. But this is where the Stoic path begins, not in noise, but in stillness, not in chasing validation, but in reclaiming self-respect. When you stop chasing, you give time the space to start working for you. You see, time is not passive, it's active. It's doing its quiet work behind the scenes. While you heal, grow, and rebuild, time whispers reminders into their mind. It makes them remember the sound of your laugh, the calm in your presence, the peace you brought that chaos could never replace. And one day, they'll wake up missing something they can't name. That something is you. But here's the lie most people believe: that silence means defeat, that pulling back means they've won. No, my friend, silence is strategy. The strongest warriors don't swing wildly in battle. They wait. They study. They let the enemy exhaust themselves before making their move. That's what you're doing here. You're not retreating. You're recalibrating. When you chase, you validate their decision to leave. You tell them they made the right choice because you're still there, proving you can't live without them. But when you go silent, when you stop reacting, you disrupt their narrative. You take away their power. They expected to see you broken, begging, or waiting. Instead, they see nothing. No posts, no messages, no updates. Just calm, just silence. And that silence, it starts to echo inside their mind like thunder in an empty valley. They start to wonder, did I matter that little? Have they really moved on that easily? And then slowly, their ego begins to crumble. That's when time steps in and starts turning the tables. But I won't lie to you, it won't feel easy. There will be nights where silence feels like a scream, days where you'll want to break it just to feel something again. But those are the moments that define your strength. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." That's your mantra now. Endure the silence. Let it harden you, sharpen you, and teach you who you really are without them. Think of silence as your armor. Every day you stay quiet, you're forging that armor piece by piece. The loneliness? That's the fire that hardens the steel. The temptation to reach out? That's the hammer that shapes your discipline. And once you've worn that armor long enough, something powerful happens. You no longer need their validation. You've become the thing they can't shake, not because you chased them, but because you mastered the art of doing nothing. When you stop chasing, you stop feeding their ego. You stop confirming their importance. You take the energy you once gave to them and redirect it toward yourself, your goals, your fitness, your peace, your evolution. And when you do that, you don't just make them miss you, you make them question themselves. You make them realize that they lost something rare, someone who didn't need the crowd's attention to shine. Let me tell you something, folks. There's nothing more unsettling to someone's ego than your silence after they expected your collapse. They'll check your profile. They'll ask mutual friends about you. They'll scroll through old memories trying to figure out how you just vanished emotionally. That's when they start to feel the real weight of time pressing on them. And you? You'll be long past the point of caring. You're not waiting for them to regret. You're preparing for your rebirth. That's the Stoic strategy. You rise quietly while they fall loudly. You evolve while they decay in their comfort. You let time whisper the truth to them while you build an unshakable empire of peace inside yourself. So let them go. Let them think they've won. Because time has already chosen its side, and it's always on the side of the one who stayed silent. Now take a deep breath, lift your chin, and repeat this in the comments below. I move in silence. Say it like you mean it. Show them, show yourself, and show the world that you no longer chase what's meant to return on its own. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you how time itself becomes your ally, how it bends regret in your favor until they have no choice but to look back and wish they'd never let you go. Number 2, time, the Stoic equalizer of regret. Time is the wisest counselor of all. They think time will erase you. They think distance will make them forget. But the truth is, my friend, time doesn't erase the truth. It exposes it. It takes everything fake and fragile, everything built on ego, lust, or pride, and strips it bare until only what's real remains. And what's real always comes back around. At first, they'll feel free. They'll smile. They'll convince themselves they made the right choice. Maybe they'll even post about it. The nights out, the laughter, the new energy. You'll see their pictures and your mind will start whispering, they've moved on. Maybe they're happier now. But here's what time knows. Nothing new can fill a space that was once occupied by something real. That's not how energy works. Time gives them the illusion of freedom first, and then it delivers the reality of emptiness. Imagine a tree in autumn letting go of its leaves. The branches are bare and the world looks cold. To the untrained eye, it looks like the tree is dying. But give it time. Those same branches will bloom again, stronger and greener than before. That's you. Your stillness right now isn't weakness. It's renewal in progress. But the one who left, they're like the leaf, drifting, lost, thinking the wind will carry them to something better. What they don't know is that every leaf eventually falls to the ground. Every leaf realizes it needed the tree far more than the tree needed it. That's how time equalizes everything. It doesn't rush, it just waits. And slowly, quietly, it balances the scales. The same people who felt too good for you will one day remember the way you listened, the way you cared, the peace you brought, and that memory will hit them harder than your silence ever could. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and its current is strong. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by and another takes its place." Meaning, what seems powerful now, their pride, their new relationship, their distractions, will all fade with the current. Because time doesn't care about appearances, it only reveals substance, and substance never disappears. The problem is, most people don't give time the chance to work. They panic in the quiet. They break the silence just to see if the other person still cares. But every time you do that, you interrupt time's lesson. You steal from your own power. You rush a process that's meant to unfold naturally. It's like baking bread. If you pull it out of the oven too soon, it collapses. But if you trust the heat, if you wait, it rises into something solid. Time is that heat. It's refining both of you. The difference is, you're growing through it, and they're burning through it. Because make no mistake, time doesn't just heal the wise, it humbles the foolish. It's the great teacher that never shouts, but everyone eventually hears. It turns confidence into reflection. It turns pride into pain. It turns the one who left into the one who lingers. And all the while, it turns you into someone they can no longer reach. You might ask, why does it take them so long to realize what they lost? Because regret doesn't bloom in sunshine, it grows in the dark. It takes time for silence to echo. It takes time for their new reality to lose its shine. At first, they only remember your flaws. They exaggerate your mistakes to justify leaving. But as time moves on, that story starts to crumble. The flaws fade, the peace remains, and that's when the truth begins to haunt them. They'll scroll through old photos. They'll remember small details. The sound of your laugh, the way your presence grounded them, the way you made chaos feel calm. And they'll start to realize that what they thought was replaceable was actually rare. But by then, time will have changed you too. You'll be stronger, quieter, sharper. You won't react to their curiosity. You won't rush to reply when they reach out, because you'll finally understand what time was teaching all along. You never needed them to come back. You just needed to become the version of yourself that no one could walk away from twice. Let's be honest, folks. Time doesn't care about looks or money or who's winning on social media. It cares about truth. It watches in silence while people act, and then it shows who really grew and who just pretended to. And when time finally speaks, its words are undeniable. So stop fearing the clock. Stop staring at the calendar, wondering if they'll ever realize your worth. They will. But not because you reminded them, because time reminded them. Because every second they spend trying to replace what was genuine only brings them closer to realizing it can't be done. Your job isn't to rush their regret. Your job is to keep living, keep building, keep mastering yourself. Let time be your partner, not your enemy, because time is never against those who stay true. It just has to clear away the noise first. So the next time you feel that ache, that temptation to reach out, remind yourself, the silence that hurts today will be the silence they fear tomorrow. You're not losing them, you're letting time teach them. And when it does, when regret finds them in the quiet hours, they'll wish they had treated your patience as a blessing, not a weakness. Write this down in the comments below and claim it for yourself. I trust time's justice. Show them, show yourself, show the world that you're done rushing what's already destined to unfold. Because time, my friend, is on your side, and it never forgets who stood still while others ran. Stay with me, because what's coming next will open your eyes to how regret grows, how their own mind, without your help, becomes your greatest ally. Number 3. Why their mind will turn back to you. Absence sharpens love. Presence strengthens it. It always begins the same way. They walk away thinking they're free, thinking they've upgraded, thinking they've escaped the heaviness of what they once had with you. But what they don't realize is that the moment they leave, the clock starts ticking in their mind, because what they've really walked away from isn't a person, it's a feeling they won't find again. At first, they don't notice it. The thrill of something new, the rush of distraction, the noise of attention, it blinds them. They convince themselves they made the right choice. They might even tell people, I'm happier now. But deep down, something inside begins to stir. It's quiet at first, a flicker, a thought, a memory, a scent. That's how regret starts. It whispers before it screams. See, the human mind hates unfinished stories. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains can't stand open loops. When someone leaves without closure, without true peace, that story stays alive in their mind. They think they've closed the chapter, but the book's still open, and every time life slows down, that chapter calls their name. That's why, even after months, even after they've told themselves they've moved on, your name still appears in their thoughts like a ghost. Imagine this. You throw a stone into a calm lake. The ripples spread wide and disappear. But under the surface, the water never forgets the impact. That's how your presence works in their life. The ripples fade, but the memory of the touch, the vibration, stays. You didn't just exist in their world, you left a frequency behind. And no matter how far they go, that frequency still hums in their subconscious. They'll start noticing patterns. The new person they're with doesn't laugh the same. The energy feels off. The conversations lack depth. The calm they once felt around you now feels replaced by noise. That's when their mind starts to replay the old moments, not the fights or the endings, but the comfort, the inside jokes, the stability, the softness that came naturally. They'll remember how you always stayed calm when things got rough, how your silence carried more weight than most people's words, how your presence made chaos feel like peace. And suddenly, the mind that once wanted excitement starts craving simplicity again. That's how regret begins. It's not dramatic, it's gradual. It creeps in slowly, like the sunset turning into night. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And when they start thinking about you again, it won't be because you reached out. It'll be because silence dyed their thoughts in your color. Your absence becomes a mirror. It forces them to see their reflection without the comfort of your energy around. And that's when the truth begins to sting. They'll wonder, why am I thinking about them again? Why can't I shake this feeling? And the more they resist it, the louder it becomes. Because the mind doesn't forget what the heart tried to bury. Time doesn't erase, it amplifies. Every small thing they took for granted becomes clearer as the noise of their new reality fades. But here's the part that confuses them the most. You're not there anymore. They can't reach you. They can't feel your energy. They can't check your social media and see sadness or longing. You've gone quiet, and that silence messes with their mind more than any message ever could. Because now they don't know what's going on in your world, and the unknown drives them crazy. People crave control. When they left, they thought they had it. They thought they could walk away and still have you orbiting around their memory. But when you stopped orbiting, when you disappeared into peace, time turned the tables. Now they're the ones wondering. They're the ones checking your page, scrolling through old pictures, trying to figure out if you've moved on. It's ironic, isn't it? The same silence they once interpreted as weakness now feels like dominance. Because now your absence screams louder than their presence. They thought leaving would give them clarity. Instead, it gave them emptiness. That's what time does. It creates contrast. It makes them compare what they thought they wanted with what they truly needed. And what they needed was you. But by the time they realize it, you've already grown past them. You're no longer sitting in pain waiting for closure. You've become the closure. You've stopped fighting for peace and started being peace. You've stopped asking, why did they leave? And started living like, thank God they did. That's the transformation time builds in silence. It turns attachment into awareness. It turns loss into leverage. And it turns the one who was once desperate into the one who is desired. But don't be fooled. This isn't about revenge. You're not waiting for them to crawl back. You're just letting their own mind become the teacher you never could. Because, my friend, guilt, curiosity, and nostalgia are the holy trinity of regret. And time is their priest. So while they replay the memories you've already outgrown, you keep building, keep improving, keep mastering your stillness. Let them remember the old version of you while you evolve into someone they'll never have access to again. Because when their mind finally circles back, when the regret starts to ache, they'll realize the truth they refused to face. You were never replaceable. You were a once-in-a-lifetime piece disguised as a person. And that realization? It doesn't fade. It festers. So let them think, let them wonder, let them dream about what they destroyed. You don't need to rush the process. Time's already doing the work. Write this in the comments if you feel it. They'll remember my peace. Show them, show yourself, show the world that you've mastered the art of absence, because your silence is not emptiness, it's a haunting. And the longer you stay still, the louder their mind becomes. Stay with me, my friends, because what's coming next will take you deeper into that storm of regret, where time doesn't just make them remember you, it makes them question why they ever let you go. Number 4. The psychological clock of regret. Regret is an insight that came too late. Regret doesn't hit all at once, it arrives in stages. It's like a storm that starts as a whisper in the distance and ends up flooding everything they thought was stable. The moment they walk away, a clock starts ticking in their subconscious. They don't hear it at first, but it's there, steady, patient, inevitable, because time, my friends, always comes back around to collect what ego tried to escape. At first they feel relieved. That's the honeymoon phase of separation. They think they've escaped the pressure, the expectations, the emotional weight. They convince themselves that life feels lighter now. They post pictures smiling, they go out with friends, and for a moment, it looks like they've won. But relief is just the first tick of the clock. Temporary, not timeless. Because the truth is, they haven't found peace. They've found distraction. Then comes the second phase, confusion. The new faces and fresh energy start to lose their shine. That high they were chasing wears off. They begin to notice that the laughter feels forced, the conversations feel shallow, and the peace they thought they'd gain never truly arrived. That's when their mind starts replaying old moments. Not the arguments or the endings, but the things they didn't appreciate. The tone of your voice when you spoke truth into them, the comfort of your silence, the way your presence grounded their chaos. They won't admit it, but they'll start to miss it. By the third phase, nostalgia begins to whisper. It's sneaky. It doesn't come with pain. It comes with longing. A random song plays. A smell in the air reminds them of you. Or they walk past a place where you once laughed together. Suddenly the air feels heavier. They stop for a second, maybe smile, but that smile fades quickly into something else. Sadness. Because that memory isn't a place they can visit anymore. It's locked in time. And now they're standing on the outside of something they once took for granted. That's when the clock ticks louder. Regret has entered the room. They'll start scrolling through old pictures, reading old messages, thinking, maybe I overreacted. Maybe I shouldn't have walked away, but their pride won't let them say it yet. So they pretend not to care, all while the silence starts echoing louder in their mind. And every tick of that psychological clock starts to sound like your name. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But they haven't realized that yet. They're still fighting time instead of learning from it. They thought they could move on by replacing you, but replacements can't replicate connections, and time makes that truth clearer every day. Then comes the final phase, the haunting. This is when regret fully matures. It's no longer a thought, it's a weight. It's quiet at night when the world sleeps and their distractions run out. It's when they scroll through their phone, hoping for a message that isn't coming. It's when they see your name somewhere and their heart sinks, not because they're angry, but because they know they lost something pure. Time has finished its work. The illusion has crumbled, and all that's left is the truth. They'll start replaying your last moments together, wondering why you didn't fight harder, why you went so silent, why you didn't chase them like they expected, and that's when realization hits. You were the peace they were never ready for. You were calm, consistent, and real. And they traded that for excitement that burned out too fast. Time doesn't punish. It reveals. It shows them that what they thought was ordinary was actually rare, and that what they thought they wanted wasn't what they needed. It makes them sit with the silence they once ignored. Because time has no mercy, it doesn't rush, it doesn't explain, it just delivers truth in its own rhythm. And while they spiral through the phases of regret, you'll be somewhere else entirely. You'll be growing, healing, living. You'll have learned that waiting for someone to realize your worth is wasted time, because the real power isn't in being missed. It's in mastering yourself so deeply that whether they remember you or not, you've already won. Let's be honest, folks. Time has a way of humbling even the proudest hearts. It makes them relive what they once dismissed. And the longer they fight it, the heavier the weight becomes. You don't need to say a word. Your silence, your stillness, your absence, they're all reminders of the peace they lost. The psychological clock doesn't lie. It keeps ticking until they can't escape the truth anymore, until one day they'll sit there thinking, how did I let that slip away? And the answer will echo back at them in silence, because time doesn't repeat lessons. It only shows consequences. So don't chase, don't rush the clock, don't try to speed up what's already in motion. Let time do what you can't. It never fails to expose the truth. And when it finally does, you'll realize you didn't need closure. You became it. Type this in the comments if you feel it. Their regret is my silence. Show them, show yourself, and show the world that you understand the rhythm of time. You're not waiting, you're transforming. Because while their clock counts down to realization, yours counts up to mastery. Stay with me, because what's coming next will take you even deeper into the quiet power of silence itself, the weapon they never see coming, and the mirror that forces them to face what they've done. Number 5. Silence is the mirror that breaks the ego. Never respond to an attack in anger. Your silence will expose their weakness. Seneca. Silence, the most underestimated power in human connection. Most people think silence means you've lost, that quiet equals defeat. But here's the truth, my friend. Silence is not emptiness, it's exposure. It's a mirror, and when you stop reacting, that mirror turns toward them. Suddenly, they can no longer hide from what they've done. You see, when they left, they expected noise. They expected pleading, anger, a reaction, anything that proved they still had power over you. They were prepared for your chaos, but they weren't prepared for your calm. When you went silent, you took away the one thing their ego needed most: attention. And when the ego starves, it begins to eat itself. Imagine standing in a room full of mirrors. At first, you only look at others, you judge, you compare, you feel confident, but then one by one, those mirrors vanish, until the only reflection left is your own. That's what your silence does to them. It strips away the distractions, the noise, the validation. It forces them to look inward. And trust me, most people can't stand what they see when the noise fades away. Their ego will start whispering lies to them. You didn't care anyway. They'll reach out first. You did the right thing. But time, combined with silence, will start cracking those lies open. Because silence doesn't argue, it reveals, and when the dust settles, your absence becomes the loudest truth in the room. At first, they'll mistake your silence for weakness. They'll think you're broken, that you're sitting there missing them, waiting for their return. But as time passes, the silence begins to feel different. It starts to feel heavy. It starts to echo. They begin to realize that this isn't weakness, it's control. They can sense that something shifted. You're no longer reacting, no longer emotionally attached, no longer playing the same game. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And in your silence, you've mastered your reaction. You've taken control of what Stoics call the inner citadel, that fortress within yourself that no one can invade without your permission. Your silence is the closing of that gate. It's not revenge, it's self-respect. The beauty of silence is that it creates curiosity, and curiosity destroys ego. When you go quiet, they start to wonder, did they stop caring? Are they seeing someone else? How can they just walk away so easily? That confusion turns into insecurity. Insecurity turns into regret, and regret turns into obsession. That's the chain reaction silence triggers. But here's the catch. Staying silent isn't easy. It's war with yourself. Because in those quiet moments, your mind will try to break you. It'll whisper, maybe just one message. Maybe just check their profile. That's the test. That's where most people fail. They break the silence too soon and hand their power right back. But the Stoic path is endurance. You don't give in to impulse. You observe it. You let it pass. And you hold the line. Think of silence like standing in a storm. The wind howls, the rain crashes, but you don't move. You plant your feet, breathe, and wait. Because storms don't last, but strength does. And when it's over, you'll still be standing calm and composed while everything around you has washed away. That's what Stoic silence feels like. It's not cold, it's unshakable. And while you stay grounded, something strange begins to happen. The same people who once dismissed you start remembering your energy. They replay old moments, searching for a reaction that never came. They start to realize that the silence they laughed at is now haunting them. It follows them everywhere, in songs, in memories, in the quiet moments before they fall asleep. They wanted to win the breakup, but you didn't give them a war. You gave them peace, and nothing eats at a restless soul more than peace it can't disturb. Because silence isn't about ignoring someone, it's about mastering yourself. It's choosing not to explain, not to defend, not to beg. It's choosing stillness over chaos, truth over ego, dignity over drama. And that kind of silence, my friend, is power. It's the kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself. It's the kind that's felt. And here's the paradox. Your silence becomes their teacher. It teaches them what no argument could. It teaches them that you were the calm they never learned to appreciate. It teaches them that peace isn't found in control, but in presence. And when they finally realize that, it's too late, because you've outgrown the version of yourself that needed to explain anything. So let them talk. Let them assume. Let them wonder. Every time you resist the urge to speak, you tighten your grip on your own strength. Every day you stay quiet, their ego cracks a little more, because silence is slow justice, and time is its partner. Write this down in the comments, my friends, and claim it. My silence is power. Show them, show yourself, and show the world that you're not playing emotional chess anymore. You've already left the board. You've mastered the art of peace, and that peace, it's louder than any words you could ever say. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you what to do while you stay silent. How to transform, evolve, and rise in the background until the day they realize that time didn't just make them miss you, it made you untouchable. Number 6. Transform while they decay. When the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly. While they're out there pretending they've won, pretending they've moved on, pretending they're happier without you. You evolve. You don't just wait for time to make them miss you. You use time to become someone unrecognizable to their old memory, because while they're standing still, chasing the same shallow distractions, you're quietly building an empire inside yourself. Here's what most people don't understand. Time doesn't heal those who refuse to grow. It only deepens their emptiness. You see, when they walked away, they thought they were escaping something limiting. But what they actually escaped was their opportunity to rise with you. They left behind the very person who was destined to transform pain into purpose. And that's you. Imagine two seeds planted in the same soil. One is left in the light, basking in comfort, never challenged. The other is buried deeper, cold, isolated, surrounded by darkness. Most people would assume the first seed will flourish faster, but give it time. The one buried in the dark learns to push through pressure, to grow upward despite the weight above it. That's the seed that becomes the strongest tree. That's you, my friend. You are the one growing in silence, becoming something extraordinary while they stay stuck in comfort. They thought leaving you would break you. They didn't realize they were giving you exactly what you needed: solitude. Because solitude is the workshop of transformation. That's where you meet your real self, the version that doesn't need validation, doesn't need attention, doesn't need anyone to confirm its worth. That's where you sharpen your focus, rebuild your energy, and design the life they'll one day regret not being part of. At first, it hurt. It feels unfair. You ask yourself, why do they get to walk away smiling while I'm left picking up the pieces? But here's the twist. Those pieces, they're not broken. They're blueprints. Each piece of pain, each sleepless night, each unanswered question is a part of your new foundation. While they're busy pretending they don't care, you're reconstructing yourself with stronger walls, clearer vision, and deeper purpose. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's exactly what happens when you choose transformation over bitterness. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start saying, "This happened for me." You stop trying to go back to who you were before the heartbreak, and instead you build someone wiser, calmer, and more powerful than ever before. Let them chase the temporary. Let them scroll, flirt, post, distract. That's all noise. You're choosing silence and structure. You're choosing to use your pain as a personal gym. Every ounce of sadness, turn it into strength. Every wave of loneliness, turn it into focus. Every regret, turn it into a lesson. Because when you work on yourself in silence, time becomes your personal trainer. It builds you up without you even realizing it. There's something poetic about watching someone who underestimated you begin to notice your glow-up. They expected you to break down. Instead, you broke through. They expected you to wait. Instead, you moved forward. They expected you to cry. Instead, you conquered. That's the moment they start to feel it, because your evolution is their reminder of what they lost, not your words, not your anger, not your explanation, just your transformation. And don't just focus on appearance. Yes, improve your health, your style, your energy, but go deeper. Transform your mindset. Start waking up earlier. Start reading more. Start building habits that outlast emotions. Start living like your future self has already arrived. When you operate on that frequency, your energy becomes untouchable. That's when time flips the script. It makes you magnetic, not because you're trying, but because you've aligned with something bigger than the past. Meanwhile, they'll start to decay, not physically, but emotionally. Because nothing corrodes the soul faster than living in regret. They'll scroll through your progress. They'll see the peace in your eyes, the discipline in your actions, the strength in your silence, and it'll sting. Not because they hate you, but because they realize they could have grown with you. They could have evolved beside you, but instead they settled for comfort, and comfort kills potential. Transformation is the greatest form of revenge because it's not revenge at all. It's transcendence. It's saying, you no longer exist in the same frequency as me. And that truth hurts more than any words ever could, because while they're still living in the past, you've moved into the future. You've turned your heartbreak into fuel, your silence into momentum, and your pain into power. The Stoics believed that the universe gives you exactly what you need to grow, not what you want, but what will shape you. So if you're here, broken, doubting, questioning, that's not punishment, that's preparation. You're being sculpted by silence, refined by time, and rebuilt by purpose. And when the time is right, your transformation will speak louder than their excuses ever did. So don't waste a second wondering if they're watching. Assume they are. Assume they're seeing the difference. But here's the secret. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for the version of you that almost gave up, that almost begged, that almost broke, and didn't. Write this in the comments and claim it right now. I evolve in silence. Show them, show yourself, and show the world that you're not chasing love anymore. You're becoming it. Because time, my friend, always rewards those who grow while others decay. Stay with me, because next we'll talk about the moment they come back, when time finally brings them face to face with the truth they tried to run from, and you'll know exactly how to respond. Number 7. When they come back, don't rush to forgive. Never waste your time trying to explain who you are to people committed to misunderstanding you. They always come back, maybe not right away, maybe not in the way you expect, but time has a strange sense of justice. It circles back. The same people who once treated your silence as weakness will one day feel its weight pressing on their conscience. They'll start to remember the warmth you carried, the calm you brought, the peace they lost. And when that guilt grows louder than their pride, they'll come back knocking on your door, sometimes literally, sometimes with a message, sometimes with a half-hearted, "Hey, how have you been?" But here's where the real test begins. When they come back, don't rush to forgive, because forgiveness without reflection is just self-betrayal dressed as compassion. You're not cold for setting boundaries. You're not cruel for protecting your peace. You're simply wiser now. See, when they return, they're not coming back because they've suddenly evolved into someone new. They're coming back because time finally did its job. It humbled them. It made them feel the absence of your energy. It made them realize that what they left behind was irreplaceable. But the danger is, your heart still remembers the good moments. It still remembers their smile, their touch, their warmth. That's the trap. The nostalgia that blinds you to the truth. When they reach out, don't mistake their regret for growth. Regret is emotional, but change is behavioral. Anyone can say they're sorry when they're lonely, but real change, that's proven in consistency, in silence, in action. The same way your silence reveals your strength, their silence after returning will reveal their intention. Imagine a storm that destroyed your house. One day the storm clears and the wind comes back, saying it's changed. Would you just rebuild your home in the same place without stronger foundations? Of course not. You'd reinforce it. You'd build smarter, sturdier, wiser. That's how you must handle their return. You don't open the door immediately. You open your eyes. You observe. You listen, not to their words, but to their effort. You owe it to yourself to test their energy before you let them re-enter your peace. Let them earn access again. Let them prove that they're not just here because time reminded them of what they lost, but because they've grown enough to deserve it again. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." So don't waste time arguing what a changed person should look like. Let them show you. If they've truly evolved, they'll respect your boundaries instead of testing them. They'll be patient with your pace instead of rushing it. They'll speak less, do more, because people who genuinely regret losing you don't beg, they rebuild. And let's be honest, my friends, sometimes they come back not because they love you, but because they hate losing control of you. They see you happy, peaceful, radiant. They see that you've healed without their permission, and it unsettles them. They want to know if they still matter. They want to know if the door is still open. But here's your moment of power. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them access. You owe yourself peace. The most powerful thing you can do when they return is to remain calm. You don't need to prove how much you've changed. Your energy will say it for you. The person they once knew is gone. You've evolved beyond that emotional chaos. You're not chasing. You're not explaining. You're not trying to make them see your worth. You're simply being it. And that energy is magnetic. That's when they realize the painful truth. They're no longer dealing with the same version of you that begged for their attention. They're facing the version that doesn't need it. And maybe, just maybe, you won't even want them back. Because sometimes, when time heals you enough, you see them clearly for the first time. You see how small they really were compared to the storm they created. You see how much peace costs, and you're not willing to trade it again. Forgiveness doesn't mean reunion. Sometimes it just means you've made peace with the past and closed the door for good. You can forgive someone and still move on without them, because forgiveness is for your freedom, not their comfort. So if they come back, don't rush to forgive. Don't rush to reply. Don't rush to feel. Just breathe, observe. Remember who you became in their absence. Remember how hard you worked to find peace. And remember that silence built your strength. Don't let words break it again, because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't rejection. It's indifference. It's smiling at what once destroyed you and realizing it no longer has power. And if they ever ask how you became so calm, so unbothered, so composed, just smile and say, "Time taught me." So here's your final affirmation, my friend. I choose peace over permission. Write it down in the comments below. Say it like you mean it. Let the world see that you're not the same person who once begged for closure. You are closure. If this message hits you deep, if it reminds you of your strength, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it tonight. Because your silence is power, your patience is strategy, and your evolution, well, that's the kind of story even time will admire. You're not waiting for their return anymore. You're living proof that when you master yourself, the universe bends in your favor. Stay stoic. Stay grounded, and remember, you never lose when you choose peace.